All right, welcome you guys. Thank you so much for coming to Maison 10 tonight for our Friday Night Live Artist Talk series. My name is Omri Myers. I run the space here with my husband, Tom Blackie, who is sadly caught up and delayed on another project that he's doing, but he hopefully will arrive in the next 15-20 minutes, so let's hope that he gets here soon. And so what we always like to do is announce what this beautiful, lovely, magical place is that's filled with art and gifts. And it's so nice to see you guys out tonight, so I'll tell you a little bit about us. We're called Maison 10. We're an art gallery, concept store, and an event space venue that revolves around the number 10. That means there's always 10 categories. Art obviously is one, but then you've got gifts, fragrances, candles, beauty, wellness, home goods. There's always 10 of everything, meaning 10 featured artists, 10 candle brands, 10 fragrance brands, etc. And everything we have here changes every 10 weeks, which means it's all the things we love for a 10-week cycle. This current show is called We Are All Immigrants. So all the artists are from somewhere magical, and we wanted to give light to everything that's going on in the world, but in our Maison 10 way. The upstairs mezzanine is our extended venue, and that's where we do a lot of our extra special things. It's the previous 10-week cycle art show that we had, and also our 10, or not, it's actually more than 10 artists, but a lot of our artists that we've had over the last 10 years. It'll be 10 years in July. So, thank you. It's been a crazy ride, but you know, we have made it through and pushed through. So if you guys are not on our list, please definitely sign up at the front desk here, and we definitely would love to have you come through. We have a lot of other things coming up for the holidays, and some really fun things, so definitely get on board. So with all of that being said, like I said, this show is called We Are All Immigrants, and we specifically looked for artists that had a vision and had a word and had kind of like a vibe that really resonated with our overall showcase that we had. And oftentimes when we curate the shows, it really just is a matter of like common denominators. So we just were like, you know, with everything going on in the world and also all these great artists that just really fit, each of them, we love color, we love texture, we love angles. You definitely can see that. We love shadows, we love light. So I would love to be able to feature and bring in our very first artist that we have, which we're going to be focusing on these pieces here, and that is Raimundo Rubio Huidubro. All right, can I put this here for you?
Yes, thank you so much.
Okay.
I'll make some note because I'm stressed.
Okay. Just make sure you speak loud, yeah?
Yes, I will. So he mentioned my name, Raimundo Rubio. I came to America in the year 79 from Chile. I came for an art exhibit in Washington, D.C. for 6 months, but I'm still staying here because I like this country very much. And then, so I live in Washington, D.C. for about 15 years. I opened an art school, and I found good galleries, I found clientele, I became a very popular artist, so I live very comfortable there. So, but with time, the galleries and the clientele pushed me to repeat myself, and I was getting tired to do the same painting, right? So I moved to New York. Wait. But I went to see the artist scene in all the galleries, and I feel lonely again. I had not found any inspiration because in that period of time, 25 years ago, what was in the gallery was like conceptual or post-conceptual. And my art is against conceptual. It's more symbolic, which is different. We are enemies, okay? So I did not find inspiration from other artists or galleries or the scene, so I went to myself and I looked for the past. The past always, the history always gives you some clue of what's next. So I looked for two different disciplines. Russian constructivism, which represent rationality. They need rationality because Soviet Union is so big and they need a structure to put all together, right? And then also I like Jackson Pollock, the abstract expressionism, which is very emotional. It represents capitalism. So Jackson Pollock represents capitalism, and Mavericks represent communism. And I put it together. Okay? And I can show you that right here. You see the splashes, and you see the geometry. You see the splashes, very casual, very emotional, and then you see the geometry, which is controlling. So it's an equilibrium in between both, the rational and the emotional. And to keep going with that, the way how I make this painting, okay, I make two photocopies of the blending. One is Maverick and the other is Jackson Pollock. So you can see very different style that I'm trying to put together. All right, and then, but it's not it. I have another influence, the very past, Renaissance and Baroque. Okay, which the composition itself is based in Baroque art, especially in and Diego de Velázquez. Okay, and you see here, this is Diego de Velázquez, and the formula then is about intersection, two forms that create an X and that create drama and dynamic. You can see that in those two paintings. All right, and then let me see what else on here. Also, it talks about Baroque spirituality. If you see as a dove there, you see rays going through, which is related with that painting. All right, so it's very based in Baroque art and constructivism and abstract expressionism. So I'm mixing three things and putting in the pot three different elements to make a new soup. And what else?
We love the soup.
Thank you. And then I'm talking to antagonism. And antagonism is related with surrealism and Dada. Something doesn't make sense, but it makes sense to me. Or it makes sense in the society, in the present. All right? Because conceptual art is gone, and the galleries are confused, artists are confused, and I'm putting something in the road for us.
Yes, very good.
So I have, anybody have any question?
Yes, let's have some questions.
Please.
First, second. Oh, quiet night tonight. We have Greg.
Oh.
Raimundo.
So where does your color palette come from?
My color, oh, that's a very good question. That's your state of mind. That's very subconscious. Color talk about yourself subconsciously. For that, you cannot control color. It's just something very, very emotional, something very spontaneous you find at the moment, but could be related with ideas that you have. Okay, you can see a little bit in here. Also, another influence, pop. The contrast of color, flat color with contracting to each other. Could be that, I don't know. But I believe color is something subconscious.
You colored the palette. You covered the palette.
Yes.
And I mean, both of these pieces we were attracted to them because they have so much energy in them, and it is a little bit of a mixture because of the color, the lines, the energy that's kind of
the interaction of line, that
Exactly.
made the drama, that's because Barroco is so strong.
Yeah.
As an art, when you see Velázquez, when you go to see Ansel's art, it's always that.
Lots of cross.
That creates the drama. If you know how to do it,
Yeah,
you're doing well.
gotta do it.
Yeah.
All right, next question.
It's kind of a comment though. Is that okay?
Yeah, of course.
It's interesting that you brought up Baroque and Renaissance because when I looked at these, I saw the depth. I saw everything kind of leading us in. And when you said that, it clicked. I thought that's genius. That's wonderful.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I have a lonely path. I don't belong to any group. Okay? Yes, I don't belong to any artist
Makes you
scene.
unique.
Yes, exactly. Yes, I'm
Raimundo, so you said something, I'm not sure if I'm remembering correctly, and I'm also not knowledgeable about art terminology, but you said that, I thought that you rejected what you called abstract conceptualism, abstract conceptual art, and that your art was more, your work is more symbolic.
Yes.
What is the difference? I don't understand.
Okay. Conceptual comes from ready-made. That's the beginning, but that ready-made is gone. Okay? But still, then trying to. The big difference, I will, for myself, symbolic art attracts, it's about emotion. Okay? And conceptual, no, it's cold. It's very much capitalism. Okay, so it's a little bit tricky, that question. It's very philosophical. Thank you for the question. But I believe conceptual art is cold.
Yeah, maybe like a personal one-on-one, you really get into it. Yeah. All right, Kaylin, let's have a question here.
I love your playful use of color and your mixing of color in ways that we often wouldn't expect. My question is, do you live at home? Do you have color in your home, or do you have a more muted palette in the way that you live?
Muted palette.
Ah.
Why is that? Why is that?
That's the way to go. Because you put everything on the canvas. You display around, you display around, you give
You put everything on the canvas and you leave your home bare, naked. All right, let's have another. Ah, right here. Love it.
Can I just ask you to speak a little bit about what mediums you use on your painting?
acrylic.
Everything's acrylic?
Yes, because I have a roommate now. Before anything
It almost looks like this one almost looks like, you know, like, yeah, like pieces of even like magazine or something, like the you know, the way it's done like from here, so.
No, it's
I love
acrylic,
it.
but it's a good
Texture.
question because oil is much better. It's more, the pigmentation is more strong, more pure, it's more beautiful.
No, it's
But
beautiful.
the contract, the different type of the interaction of color, it make it a strong same. But this in oil is much better. But I cannot do it anymore because the
You
neighborhood,
can't,
the
you
roommate.
can't tell, that's why I asked, I was like, wow, here it is. So.
Definitely, when you do come up to see these in person, there's so much going on. You do have texture, you have the lines. It's really interesting how you've faded in and out throughout the entire canvas. All of your pieces. There's also a piece upstairs as well, which is kind of like this nice wind tunnel. It's like a portal. It's very interesting.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about that one.
Okay, that's related with Baroque very much. You see the dog there. It presents spirituality. It presents the Baroque when the painter interpreted God and put a dog with X-ray, just like right here.
Yeah.
So that's a little bit what's going on the scene. All right. So that's the best thing to fight against conceptualism is doing something spiritual.
Let's have a round of applause for Raimundo. All right, so guys, we're going to shift the energy from this area to the front. So make your way. We're going to be right here. I'm going to join you. Yes, we're going to be right here. Yeah. All right, guys, you good? All right, yeah. So please, if you guys come forward, keep the focus on the artist for tonight. Silencio. Okay. All right. Do we have everyone's? Are we all here? All right. I hear voices, and I'm not schizophrenic. All right, guys, thank you so much. So, back on to our second amazing artist for the evening. Again, round of applause for Raimundo Rubio. This next artist we've now shown his work 2 or 3 times over the last almost 10 years. And it's playful, it's fun, there's so much, but so little. There's a lot of stories here, but I'm just gonna leave it up to him. So let's have a round of applause for Motomichi.
All right. Okay. Hi everyone. Thank you for coming. Once again, I've known Tom and Harry for quite a few years, and then I'm always so thankful that they're so supportive to artists. So I just wanted to kind of thank again. Okay, so again, thank you for coming. My name is Motomichi Nakamura. Since the show is about immigration, so I guess I should just talk about my background. Born and raised in Japan, I came to the States when I was 16. So I spent more years in the US, or outside of Japan, than I lived in Japan by now. I went to college, I went to high school for 1 year, and after that I went to college, and then I've been living here. I also lived in South America, Ecuador, Quito to be more specific. So I just have this kind of three different cultural background. So that's kind of like a context of my work. Okay, what should I say? Okay, so I have two prints here, and I have plaster. I have to fix the hair a little bit here. And then I have small drawings here. Okay, so my work is, I make a lot of monsters, and people always ask me why. And my answer is that I think we artists all have some kind of theme that we kind of want to keep working on, and in my case, it's fear. So when I create artwork, this is sort of like my way of dealing with my own fear and trying to understand what is fear, what I fear, what people fear. Okay, so so this one is the sea cow, and this is sea monkey. You might not really see the connection of it, but there's something called cryptozoology, which is the study about unknown creatures or mysterious monsters, or sometimes they actually do get to scientifically prove it. A good example is something like you all know Bigfoot, Loch Ness monster, chupacabra, and this and like that. So the reason why I like to work on these kind of themes is that when you read the story about the witness accounts, they often talk about that special intense moment they encounter the monster. And I would like to kind of like imagine, like almost kind of fantasize, what was it like to be in the position where you actually all of a sudden like stand face to face with seahorse, sea cow, or like in Bigfoot, and then what was it like? I imagine that that would be sort of mixture with the curiosity, fear, and excitement. So when I draw, when I paint, I try to kind of recreate that moment. That's also the reason why a lot of my work is sort of like frontal, or like the portrait. And if you see these small drawings, the same thing. I sort of like, when I start drawing, I kind of close my eyes and then I just draw straight from there. So that's kind of like my kind of process of it. And if you see the projection there, I'm also a projection artist. I do a lot of projection mapping work. I also come from animation background. So this is the title Tiny People Tribe. I created this installation years ago, and then depending on the location, I remap the animations and we sort of adjust it. So it's kind of like flexible that way. And this is actually based on the folklore, the story where northern part of Japan, there was a legend, it's called Koroboko, which is that people believe that before the, what we call Japanese now, there was other people called Ainu, but even before that, the Ainu culture, there was some people believe that there was this, the tribe, it's called Koroboko, which is about, I would say like 1 to 2 feet tall, and there was some kind of scientific the study done, and then to make it short, basically the older studies were lost during World War I, so now we don't have any way to prove it. But anyway, so a lot of my work is actually not necessarily based on it, but kind of like loosely inspired. But in this case, it was just specifically for that, the story that I read or that I kind of grew up with. Anyway. That's it for the work. Yeah.
You ready for some questions?
Yes.
All
Yes,
right.
please. Yeah.
Okay. Let's go. Rhiannon right here.
Can I ask an obvious question about your colour choice of red, white and black?
Uh-huh.
Because you don't use any other colour, so I'm just intrigued as to why it's just that palette.
I think it's how I started was definitely that I was just trying to simplify as much as I could. I think that has a lot to do with my Japanese background. If you know, the Zen culture is based on simplifying a lifestyle. That goes beyond our lifestyle. That's also the interior design and even the visual, the language itself. So that's one thing. Other thing is that the big part when I moved to the States. Also, when I moved to South America too, that language is always a barrier. And then my intention, I think we all kind of agree on it as an artist, that we all try to find universal language. So I wanted to find some kind of a like language that I can communicate with anyone. And then when you say certain colors have such a strong attachment to it, like let's say green is ecological trees, and then so those are stuff like I just thought could be a kind of distraction. So I was kind of trying to find a way, like if there's any kind of color combination, if there's any way for me to create some kind of universal language, and then that's how I came down to these three colors, which is black and white is the create highest contrast. When you see it, your eyes read it, and then the red is actually the strongest color. So for example, when you see red, the distance your brain tells you is much closer than it is. So it's just basically these three color combinations create a lot of physical reaction to it. So that's the reason why I decided to use three colors. And I don't know if you guys know, you guys know Pokemon, right?
Yeah.
So there was this Pokemon incident, that's a big thing, back in, I think in the 90s or something, where when they used to run this Pokemon show on TV, they used this flash. And then a lot of kids that watching in Japan started vomiting. Sorry for the language. Anyway, so that was kind of like, kind of shocked me when that happened. It's like, oh, it's kind of amazing because it's almost like, it just should be just the TV, but they created the very physical kind of communication to it. It's kind of reminding of the horror movie Poltergeist, right? Okay, or The Ring. Okay, anyway.
So with Pokemon though, isn't that like yellow? And the
Yeah, but-
yellow was the color that made them cute?
But then in the episode, that specific episode, they had this kind of black and white, and that created a lot of like issues. And then so the show actually paused for a few months or something like that. Anyway, so that
Are those screen prints?
yes, they just
Okay.
yeah.
They're wonderful. I love the encounter snapshot. Like you talked about how if you came upon them, and they'd be there, and they're stunning. Is one of yours upstairs as well?
Some small drawings and
Small-
also yeah. Actually, these are. Yeah, it's funny because I made these prints a while ago when I went to Thailand for some festival, and then they made it, and I completely forgot about it. And then recently I just discovered, and it was nice to. So I think it's just for the last few pieces there.
But these are both, so you know that these are the limited edition of
Yeah.
how many? 25, I think?
I think yeah, probably.
Let's say 25. There's limited edition 25.
Sorry. And then I think I have maybe one left at home, maybe two left at home, and then
Yes.
there are a few more prints, but that's in another gallery in
Yeah,
Amsterdam. So.
yeah. But for the ones here, you can get them. Just talk to me later.
Yeah.
And then also we have these smaller pieces here. Let's talk about the plushies and the small.
Okay, so the plushies. So I made sculpture long time ago, and then I started sending these sculptures to exhibitions, and then someone told me that why don't you just make a plush toy? Because the issue with the sculpture is always the packing and shipping, and then I got kind of tired of kind of being worried about it, and also the fixing the damages. So when I lived in Ecuador, Ecuador has like long history of artisan, especially for the sewing, and so that I had like a lot of access to very skilled people. So that I got to know them, and so I showed them my sculpture, which is pretty much the same size, and then they made it. So this was the original one. And then when they went to buy a fabric in the market, they found the hairy one. So they like, why don't you do the hairy one? Okay, so we'll do that. And then they found the golden one, so then we just keep kind of adding it.
Yeah. These are fun. They're kind of staples for Maison 10.
Yeah.
They're fun. They're good for kids, but mostly adults.
So they actually ship it with the flatten. So I actually stuff them when I
So
have
they're
time.
hand stuffed.
Oh yeah. I just bought like a few more, and I just literally did it like before it came. So
Are you ready for some questions?
yeah, sure, yeah.
All right.
So when you point to these two paintings here, where you have this idea of you want that first emotion, like when they saw Bigfoot, Sasquatch, etc., before you paint them, this is a question about the process, right? It's like, do you put yourself in that emotional state to translate it? or?
Yeah, so some of the so if you pick up books like any title with the cryptozoology, it's all about witness account. I mean, the good thing is that we don't have any physical, proof that there's no picture, so you can also question that. But the witness accounts are fascinating, and they're just so personal. Just imagine to have like something like in this distance. So I yeah, my answer is yes. I completely just try to imagine myself in there, and that is pretty exciting to me. And just trying to kind of imagine what it was like. So that in that mind, in some ways, sometimes I can do something a little more abstract in a way because it's more feeling of it. It's more important than what was actually described in there. Yeah.
Next question.
I have one. So you've been doing this for years, and I know that it's like a very primitive, like I guess, bringing all these monsters alive. Do you feel like in all these years, like your monsters have been changing? I know that some of them they don't have eyes. They don't have, like sometimes they have like rows of teeth. Do you feel like they're like starting to feel like a little bit more like closer to you?
I mean, yeah, yes, in some way, because when you work on the same theme or like same subject, and then you start developing sort of like a different kind of perspective to it, so it just becomes kind of like, yeah, like you become more familiar to it, and then I'll try to reach that level that I sort of like the vision or the feeling in any way I could think about, and then over the years this creating monsters became more like puzzles to me. So that when I create the artwork, is first of all I want to use 3 colors or 2 colors if you count it, like if you don't count the white. But it's kind of like a combinations of it. So the mouth, eyes, nose, and all the stuff. Just to me, I take it out sometimes I put it in, and then each one has kind of strong meaning to it. For example, some of my characters don't have eyes. The reason for that is that we, especially mammals, I don't know how reptiles think, but we can kind of imagine how mammals think, right? Because we have dogs and stuff. So eye contacts are so important to the point where if you cannot see the eyes, it creates the tension, it creates the fear. So that's also the reason. Teeth is the same thing. The dogs, if you have dogs, when they take out their teeth, you get the message right away. That you're not going to, you just back off. That's how we are programmed. That's how it's said in the DNA. So that's why a lot of my times that the teeth are shown because of that reason. No eyes or eyes and stuff like that.
Very good. All right. Another one right here, Kaylin.
Riffing off of the past 2 lovely questions, one of the first words you said this evening was fear. Yeah. But I think I'm not the only one that experiences joy and whimsy and playfulness in your work. And I'm curious if perhaps in creating your work, you have gotten past a certain level of fear and you've actually found joy in working through something that may have started from a fearful place.
Yeah, I mean, okay, tough question. Okay, I think it's the like people say, fear is not to fear, right? So I think one of the biggest obstacles that we face is the fear of unknown. When we don't know, that's scary. That's why we are afraid of darkness and stuff like that. So in some way, I think overcoming or dealing with that, it gives us some kind of sense of ease or comfort. So I think in some way that me working on it is that when I complete some work, which that will kind of show me the kind of that I feel like I express the fear in a way, and then I feel kind of happy in some way. And also the other thing is that a lot of times that's the fears we live with fears like everyday life. So that's something that not necessarily bad thing. I think is
true.
All right, let's have another one. Let's get. All right, we got one in the back.
Is that big? Is that big? I guess it's going along the same lines of the characters that you create. Do you view them as friendly monsters or evil monsters, or somewhere in between, or don't you know?
I see actually monsters more like a neutral being. And I think that's where maybe my Japanese side comes in, because if you're familiar with like a Japanese culture, we have something called Shintoism, which is the animism, which is, it's not really religion, put it that way. Like Shintoism doesn't have any Bible or anything. It's very, very abstract. So basically basic idea is that everything in life has spirit in it, like even chair, even glass, and then, like anything. So it's kind of like something neutral, something is there. And then also that also goes beyond the objects, it's the nature itself, it's like that. And then a lot of the mythical creatures or the stories come with monsters, and I think it's just because people wanted to find a way to deal with cope with fear. And when something, like let's say when tsunami comes and wipe up your entire village and the entire family, how do you deal with it? Like you can't just say, well, we don't know how that happened. But I think it's easier for human to just, visualize something like a monster that was there, so we should just worship. So I think it's somewhere that it's kind of neutral in a way. It could be kind to us and it could be horrible to us.
All right, let's have a round of applause for Motomichi.
All right, guys. So both of our artists are still here for a little bit more time. Definitely come up, get into it, talk to them, have a glass, enjoy, and sign up if you're not on there. Thank you so much. Cheers.